President Barjagdo says he's pleased with the results of the Lash Review on Climate Change and Financing Global Forests.
The United Nations calls on the international community to strengthen efforts to lift the 1.4 billion impoverished people worldwide out of their desperate situation.
And police have arrested one person in connection with the shooting of environmentalist Alicia Foster.
The details of these and other stories, business news, and of course the latest sporting action in the Diamond, Mineral Water and NCN Sport News, and more after these. I'm Delicia Fletcher.
And I'm Paul Moore.
With this edition of the 6 o'clock news for today, Friday, October 17, 2008. Here's what's happening, Paul.
Thanks, Delicia. President Barjagdo says he's pleased with the results of the Lash Review on Climate Change and Financing Global Forests. And as Shah Dalal reports, the findings largely coincide with the proposals of the Jagdeo initiative on the subject. Here's that report.
The Lash Review on Climate Change and Financing Global Forests is an independent report commissioned by British Prime Minister Gordon Brown and led by deforestation specialist Johan Elias. According to the findings of the report, the international community should enable rainforest countries to halve deforestation by 2020 and make the global forest sector carbon neutral by 2030. This can be made possible with emissions from forest loss balanced by new forest growth. The report has also stipulated that standing rainforests should be included in any post-Kyoto Protocol agreement if it is to be successful. It states that this can only be facilitated through deforestation strategies which include baselines, distribution of finances, and effective governance. The report has also alluded to the importance of market-based mechanisms and underlines the need for public and private sector funding in this regard. It proves that standing rainforests are to date the most cost-effective abatement solution to this potentially catastrophic phenomenon, something which President Barjagdo has been advocating for the past year.
So when I looked at the summary, it has at least these four things, there may be many more, which are exactly the things that we've been saying. So I hope now that the British government, which commissioned this study, will now use the study in advocating for forests in the post-Kyoto framework, a market-based mechanism.
President Jagdeo believes that climate change has been put on the back burner with the advent of the global financial crisis. However, he says due attention needs to be given to this issue since it can have a devastating impact on the world.
It could increase poverty. The climate crisis could wipe out life on Earth as we know it. So you have to pay attention to both.
The head of state is supported by deforestation specialist Johan Elias, who says saving forests is critical for tackling climate change. Reporting for the 6 o'clock news, I'm Shah Dalal.
President Barjagdo has met representatives of the Miss Diwali Committee to discuss the controversy surrounding the name of the pageant. Following this meeting, the committee has decided to rechristen the event the Miss Guyana Sari pageant. This comes after repeated criticisms by the Hindu religious community, who felt that it was offensive to associate the pageant with one of the most revered occasions on the religion's calendar. Minister of Local Government Kelvin Lal has visited Region 10 as part of a series of visits aimed at addressing issues affecting the completion of work programs. And during the meetings with the Democratic Councils, he sounded a call for them to be more vigilant to what happens in the region. Joselle Archibald has details.
Minister of Local Government Kelvin Lal visited Region 10 and held meetings with regional representatives to address constraints faced by the region in getting its work program completed. Minister Lal urged all councillors and heads of department in the region to be more interested in what happens around them.
You should also go down there, and as I said, you're not only responsible for your little cocoon of education, you're a regional officer. You're a regional officer. And you can go down in communities, meet people, deal with all kinds of issues.
They are all encouraged to visit project sites. This, Minister Lal says, will give them a better understanding in solving problems.
You may not have immediate answers. And I find that as a minister. I go there, I go to many places, especially poverty-stricken areas. And sometimes people want to rub shoulders with people who are taking care of who are supposed to be taking care of it. You want to rub shoulders with them, you want to know them, what plans they have.
The interaction follows a series of visits to various areas to ensure that capital and current works programs are being completed in a timely manner. The minister noted that regional officers often compromise quality to get the work completed on time. He noted that the lines of communication must also be strengthened since some officers say they are not properly informed. In the meantime, Region 10 Chairman Martin Mumingo says the council remains committed to fulfilling its mandate. More than $15 billion has been allocated this year for regional development. Reporting for the NCN 6 o'clock news, I am Gisela Archibald.
The Federation of Independent Trade Unions of Guyana is supporting government's position that two principles be included in the Economic Partnership Agreement. FITUG also commends President Barry Jagdeo for his consistency and principled insistence that at the minimum 2 basic clauses be added to the original EPA signed by the other CARICOM member states. FITUG regards the now included improvements to the CARIFORUM EU EPA as a significant victory for Guyana and more so the Caribbean at this initial stage. The unions believe President Jagdeo has shown the foresight and principled determination will capture the attention, understanding and eventual negotiated compromise of other reasonable parties at any bargaining table. The Federation pledges its support and solidarity to the President's principles and leadership in this specific regard. President Barry Jagdeo has disclosed that government is prepared to remove the tax on gasoline providing that minibus and taxi operators drop the fares. There has also been some concern expressed about the price for kerosene oil in the absence of an import tax on the commodity. More in this report.
The Guyanese head of state during a media briefing at State House said government is prepared to move the gasoline tax once transportation fares are lowered. He says he will not pass on benefits to minibus and taxi operators at consumers' expense.
For to take that money, the taxes, and spend it back on school uniforms so more kids could get school uniforms and other things, and give it out for poverty-related purposes. Give more money to the pensioners and other places, not to give it to the taxi drivers or the minibus operators.
The Guyanese leader says government used the tax mechanism as a price stabilizer to cushion the effects of rising prices of products on the local market. He dispelled claims by opposition parties that government increased taxes without any consultations.
So as prices go up, the taxes would come down. As prices fall, the taxes will go back so that we have stability in the price of the product to the market. Because if you drop the tax to zero when the prices come down, there is no cushion when the prices go up back.
The president also reiterates that the tax on gasoline has been lowered from 50% to 20% while diesel stands at 14%. This, he says, is as a result of government's intervention to ease the consuming public from the full brunt of the increases internationally. Checks by NCN at local gas stations reveal that kerosene is indeed more expensive than gasoline. One such service station is Esso, while Shell and Texaco service stations are not selling kerosene. Guyol has remained the cheapest service station and retails kerosene at cheaper price than gasoline. But pundits believe petrol dealers are taking consumers for a ride. They say following the spiral in gas prices internationally, the price on the local market went up eventually. But now that the price has fallen, consumers anxiously await a drop in local prices. The current price for kerosene and its relation to the price for diesel is believed to be inexplicable. There is no import tax on kerosene, causing some worry about the reason behind the price charged for this commodity. Reporting for the 6 o'clock news, I'm Shardalal.